Okay, okay. Exercising the mouth. Preparing to answer questions. Preparing to answer the questions that have been asked of me. Question and answer, question and answer, question and answer, Q&A, Q&A, Q&A. Getting comfy? You ready? I'm about to kick my feet up and find out if it's true that there is no such thing as a stupid question. Question number 1. Mike Merrifield wants to know, what do you think of the new Jackson King Vs? The same thing I think of the old Jackson King Vs. Kind of ugly. Not really my jam. I much prefer the Rhodes shape. I haven't actually gotten to play any of the new ones, so I cannot speak to their quality, especially as compared to the old ones. Just never really struck me as my kind of guitar. My favorite Jackson guitar look is actually those Misha Mansour ones. Very atypical Jackson look, and I love that headstock. Love that headstock shape. Still pointy enough to kill a man, but it's got this class to it. It's like different from the typical Jackson headstock, which I do also like. Fazil Ashraf writes, your nose ring is pretty dope. That is true. Not a question, but I appreciate it nonetheless. A guy whose name I'm not going to attempt to butcher wants to know, is Gear Gods your personal individual project? If not, can you please introduce the rest of the Gear Gods crew? It's not so much a crew as I like to call it a Pantheon, which is basically a crew of gods. It is not my personal individual project. There are several of us. I will describe them to you in some detail. Pantheon consists of myself, Alex Nasla, who is our pro audio recording and keyboard editor. He mixes and masters all of my demos. He reviews stuff that I don't know anything about, such as pro audio gear, keyboards, you know, all that kind of stuff. Monitors, like I don't really know a whole lot about those. He knows a lot about those, so I let him do that kind of stuff. Max Frank, who is senior editor of Gear Gods, does a lot of the writing. Recently started doing a bunch of cool videos. If you saw the Plug It In video with the donut, that was all Max. So if you were a little creeped out, I had nothing to do with it. He also did the Dave Davidson Prozone video, which was fucking hilarious. If you haven't seen it, it's on our channel. Check it out. He's a man of many talents, great guitar player, super smart, great writer, probably a better writer than me. I don't know. Very recently we added Mr. Lucas Lecomte, and he's been writing as a contributing writer for us, writes a bunch of articles, lots of cool extra content that we wouldn't have been able to get up otherwise. So thank you, Lucas. Frank Godla from Metal Injection writes up stuff for us fairly often. Occasionally we have guest writers and stuff. We've had everyone from Myron, Dean Lamb from Archspire has done some columns. Lots of contributing writers that we work with from time to time. People who help us out. And that leads me into the next question, actually, which is, Chaos with a Z asks, are you guys hiring writers for the site? I need a job. We are looking for writers. We're hiring is a strong word. Hiring implies that we have some kind of a budget to pay you with. That we do not. If you don't mind working for free and you can write to us at info@geargods.net. We're always looking for writers, as long as you're not looking to be compensated with U.S. currency, because we're a small website. We don't have that much of a budget. But we're always looking for contributors, so if you're into it, you should definitely send a sample of your writing and, a little introduction and all of that to me at info@geargods.net. Carlos Rodriguez wants to know, any thoughts on Tonewood and whether or not it makes an actual difference in the sound of a guitar? Well, Carlos, as far as the internet is concerned, there is no correct answer to this question. And by that I mean, it might be the most contentious question that has ever existed in the history of guitar, okay? No matter which way I answer this question, there's going to be a shitstorm in the comments section, okay? So, honestly, I don't fucking care. You can believe whatever you want. It's really not up to me. This is one of those questions where hopefully someday when I die, if there is a God, the first question that I'm going to ask him is Tonewood real? Was I actually hearing a difference in the woods, or is it fucking snake oil? And I don't think I'll find out before then, but I will tell you that I personally have not noticed that much of a difference. I would say it probably accounts for like 5 to 10% of your tone. To me, that's not worth basing my choice specifically on how a kind of wood will sound. So because of that, if it's up to me, I will probably always choose swamp ash because it's pretty much the lightest wood that there is. And I've never had any problems with it. Always sounds great to me. I think that your choice of pickups and how you dial in your amp and what kind of pedals you use out front make infinitely more difference than the kind of wood that your guitar is made of. Even if you do get a kind of wood that has a large effect on your tone, you can usually use those other things to sort of even it out. Like if you get a piece of wood that's really bright, you can turn it down the treble a little bit or put in some darker pickups or whatever. That's why amps and pedals and stuff have knobs. Okay, so what's coming in, you tweak it a little bit. I think the electronics are far more powerful than the effect that the wood has on your tone. Come at me, bro. Honestly, though, I don't fucking understand why people freak out about it. It's one way or the other. Like, if it's everything or if it's nothing, just chill the fuck out, okay? Like, it's fine. It's gonna be all right. It's just guitars. Brianna Haskins says, "Dem eyes so blue, though." That's not a question, Brianna. But I've got a question for you, and that is, how are you doing? Someone named Belt-Fed Riffs and Gear wants to know, can you explain the whole mixed and mastered for iTunes and how iTunes in many ways degrades much of the work put into post-production? Thanks. I cannot. I don't know shit about it. I'm going to hand this one over to Alex.
Hey guys, Alex here. I'll be fielding this one. Mastering for iTunes essentially exists because of what we call the loudness wars. And that's basically this time period that was at its highest was like around 2000 to 2010. Essentially, mastering engineers kept making their masters really loud. Like you could consider it excessively loud. And the reason why I thought that was a problem is because formats like MP3, which iTunes uses a similar version of, couldn't handle it. So the music was actually distorting when you converted it from like the CD or whatever to MP3. Obviously, that was a problem for Apple because that's all they sold through their digital storefront. So they created the Mastered for iTunes program, if you want to call it that, which is essentially a way to master a mix specifically that works well with their new format that they made, which what they sell through iTunes. That's pretty much it. I mean, you can get a little more detail than that, but that's essentially it. Back to you, Trey.
When I asked you guys for questions, I was also looking for some suggestions for people to collaborate with and some stuff to do. So we've got some suggestions for that I'm going to read off right now. Alexander Teplov wants me to have gear talk with Fluff. Well, here's the thing. I fairly often have gear talk with Fluff. It's just that nobody sees it except for me and Fluff. So basically all we would have to do is set up some cameras and make it happen. But really what I would like to do is go and visit the man in Seattle. And I'm really hoping I'm going to be able to do this before the end of the year. So this is going to happen. There's no question that there's going to be gear talk with Fluff. And probably some other funny crap. So definitely going to happen as soon as I can make it happen. It's hard. It's hard, folks. Mary Sweeney wants me to do a collaborative project with Sarah Jane Longfield that is a mix of creating art that's inspired by synth patches the two of you create. By the way, love the blue. Everybody loves the blue. Come on now. That's awfully specific, but does sound like fun. Sarah's really great, super great guitar player, and I like to make synth patches. I want to see you do some lesson stuff with Ben Eller. I also want to do some lesson stuff with Ben Eller in that I want to take lessons from him because he's a lot better than me. The two of us doing lessons together for you would be mostly me just going like, yeah, what he said. So that'd be cool, but I feel like I would probably just be wasting his time. So sorry, Outlaw, bunch of numbers. What is that, your phone number? If I dial this number, will I get you, Outlaw, with a guitar? That could be awkward. Several people want me to jam with Mark Holcomb. He seems like a very busy dude. We have collaborated in the sense that we just did a contest with him. And first of all, congratulations to the winner, whose name was Sime Stampar. I really hope I said that right. I probably didn't. Congratulations, dude, on winning that guitar. It's still at my house. I'm going to have to send it to you probably pretty soon, as soon as they get me your address. Daniel Baber wants to see me collab with Ola England on some heavy stuff. Well, why's it got to be heavy stuff? I mean, why can't we do some like nice, like light techno beats with a little bit of, you know, sparkly, jangly, clean guitars on it? Why you got to pigeonhole me and Ola? You think that that's all we're gonna do is just chug 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 chug, and then some. You know what? You're probably fucking right. On a more serious note, that might actually happen. Trying to make it happen. We will see what happens. Lorenzo Rico Juarez wants me to collab with Jared or Rob Scallon, and that's a big yes. I would love to do that. So call me, guys. I mean, I'll see if I can squeeze it into my schedule. Connor Sullivan wants me to collab with Garrett J. Peters, and Garrett J. Peters agrees. So I guess that's going to have to happen. I would absolutely love to get out-shredded by Garrett J. Peters, so challenge accepted. Lorenzo Rico Juarez wants to know, first? And the answer to that, of course, is no. So that wraps up my very first Q&A/advice column. I need more questions, okay? Otherwise, there will not be a part 2, which, you know, if I've answered all of the questions that exist, then that's great, and this has been fun. But for some reason, I get the feeling you might have more questions. Please leave them in the comments section below. You know what to do. I don't need to tell you. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you real soon. How do I even say that right? Dem eyes so blue, though. 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 Mark Holcomb on the Axe Effects or Just Merely Jamming would be sweet. It's Just Merely Jamming. Just merely jamming, man. Just merely jamming. Me and Mark Holcomb. Just merely jamming. On the Axe Effects. On the Axe Effects. I want to see you do some lesson stuff with Ben Eller, and I want Sonata Arctica to be a power metal band again, but we can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find. They're never going back to power metal. They're a prog band now. Really, bro? Tonewood question. Round 1, fight! Before I answer a Tonewood question, I'm going to go and load my gun because people are going to be fucking sending me death threats.